Hey everybody, it's Patrick. It is Tuesday, which means it's time to talk about hair. As you may be able to tell from my voice, I'm still recovering from a cold that has taken, over a week to get over. So I was going to do a tutorial this week, which I will move to next week because that'll take a lot more time and effort. And today I just wanted to chat about something that I've gotten comments and questions on from a number of different people from all walks of life. And I thought that I would just address it here because people ask me about it. And that comment, question, request for advice is, how do I deal with negative comments about my hair? And for me, it's not a really easy question to answer because there is so much involved with that. It's how secure you are with yourself, how long you've had the long hair, who's making that comment, and I'll get back to that in just a minute, and what the consequences are for those comments, for both yourself and the person making them. So I thought that I would just go over that. So, excuse me, I'm just going to sit up a little bit straighter. Sit up straight. That's what Mom always told you. So the main thing with negative comments, I think, is determining who is the person making them. What relationship do you have with the person who is making these negative comments towards you? Because that determines what your response could be or how that affects you while you're growing out your hair. So there's a number, and you might not think that, but there are a number of different people in your life or relationships in your life in which somebody having a negative feeling about your hair can actually affect you. So the first, obviously, is if there is somebody who is responsible for you, and responsible for your life, your livelihood, your living situation, all of that. So mostly I'm talking about kids. So if you are underage and you and your parents say, you can't grow long hair while you're in this house. You can't grow long hair because I'm your mom or your dad. Gracie just hit the tripod again. She's sitting under the tripod right now. Come on, kitty. Here's a move. She loves to sit under the tripod and then scratch herself. It's amazing how much I think she thinks it's somebody else I'm talking to and it's taking attention away from her. So if your parents tell you, and you are underage, I don't want you growing long hair while you're in this house, you say, okay, realize that you will turn of age, 18 in the US, whatever age that is in another country, you will eventually get to the point where you are an adult and you can make decisions about that. So if you are a kid and you're asking internet strangers how to talk to your parents, don't. Because while most people have good intentions, don't get into a conversation with somebody you don't know about how to talk to your parents about something. That's, you know what? Work with your parents. And if you can talk to them and say, this is the reason that I want to grow long hair, and they say, that's great, then that's great. But if they draw a line and say, nope, you're not going to have long hair, you will turn 18. You will turn into an adult eventually, and it comes much sooner than you think. So don't worry about that. Just realize that later on in life you can decide that you want to grow your hair or do whatever it is that you want to do. And that also goes for people who are in charge of you or can make your life difficult. So if you are, say, in the armed forces and they say you cannot have long hair, they have you. They're the ones who say that you can't have the long hair. I think that most people who are in the armed forces realize that this is the case. But also if you're in a country or a community in which it would be dangerous for you to stand out by having long hair or doing whatever. If you are in a place where your life, your person, your livelihood is in danger because of long hair, don't. Is it worth it to grow your hair out? I think just for aesthetic purposes, probably not. And that's I'm sorry, I got a little heavy at the beginning here, but I think it's important to know that you should know. The next category for me would be loved ones. So your partner, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your the person that is very meaningful to you. If they say, I don't want to see you with long hair, and this is actually something that people, and it's not just about long hair. It's about things like, the way that you dress, or tattoos that you might want to get, or, wearing certain things, wearing makeup, not wearing makeup. Oh God, I hate that hat on you, whatever. That's a personal conversation. And I think that people asking for advice may want someone to back them up, but it's your own personal relationship with that person. And it's very important. You two have to set your own boundaries with your relationship, and appearance is one of them. So if someone says, I don't want you with long hair, for me personally, if my partner said, you can't grow your hair, I would probably have a difficulty staying with that person. But other people might not have those boundaries. So that's a very personal thing. And actually all of this is a very personal thing. But that's the next level for me. 3 would be job. And it's kind of the people who have your livelihood, but if you have the ability to choose the job that you want, if you are, someone who can, go to a new job and you're not under contract somewhere, and you can say, well, you know what, if you don't like my long hair, then I'm going to go get another job. If the folks at your job, or if the industry you're in, don't take well to long hair, you really have to think about that, because it can be limiting. I know that it seems like we shouldn't be in an age, to me, it seems like we shouldn't be to an age where men deciding whether or not to have long hair should be something that can financially affect you, but it does. Certain professions, like the police, the fire department, it's just not allowed. For whatever reason, mostly because they're they have the same sort of regimentation that, say, the military does, and so they can say what kind of appearance you have. Disney World, people who worked at, I don't know if it's anymore, but in the 80s, if you worked at Disney World, you couldn't have long hair as a guy, was not allowed. My office, my company is very generous about what employees look like, what we can wear. We can wear jeans to the office. We're in tech, so we get to wear jeans to the office, and as long as we look presentable, that's fine. And nobody at my workplace has ever given me any grief for my hair. They've asked about it, and some people have said they like it or they don't like it, but nobody in power at my office has said you can't have this. But if I should at some point in the future say, you know what, I want to go look for another job, I have thought about how long hair, a bun, a ponytail would affect my chances over another candidate of my age. Just walking through the door, you make your first impression in 5 seconds. In those 5 seconds, someone may say, oh God, who is this guy? Does this guy think he's in a band? Is he an aged hippie? Is he, oh God, is he one of those new age wind chime? Oh, good Lord, I can't deal with this guy. So I have thought about that. And I'm lucky right now that I'm in a place that I'm okay with growing my hair and wearing what I want within reason. It's great. And then finally, I think this is the one that most people talk about, which is kind of the general public. So your friends, your acquaintances, the people you work with, the people on the street. And for me, I know it's hard to get to this point, and it's very hard for me to get to this point. I have made rant videos about people making assumptions about hair and sending me things that hurt my feelings. So my feelings do get hurt when people say things like, I haven't gotten too many people say that hair doesn't look good on you. Some people have. There are some people in my life, at the theater, some of my relatives I don't see all the time who have said, oh my God, you've got to cut that hair. It just looks terrible on you. You look terrible. And I've had some people who have said, oh God, I thought you were a woman, which to me, whatever, but that kind of thing is the type of thing that you have to really be resilient about. You have to say, other people's opinion of me don't matter, and it's none of my business what other people think of me. And I think that nowadays, in this age where you can learn anybody's opinion of who you are and what you think. I mean, especially if you're putting yourself out there. If you're putting yourself out there on YouTube, people can tell you exactly what they think of you right away. And for me, the phrase that works is, "I'm sorry you feel that way." And I think that really covers it. It's very kind of Emily Post. It's very Miss Manners kind of, "Oh, I'm very sorry you feel that way," because it doesn't put them in too bad of a spot. You know, it's like, yeah, we have a disagreement of opinion. A lot of people have disagreement of opinions on a lot of things, but I'm not going to change, and you don't have to change how you feel about me, because what you think of me doesn't matter. If you aren't paying my bills, if you aren't living in my house, if you aren't someone that I come to discuss my problems with, why would I care what you think about my hair? Really, I mean, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? Is if there is somebody in your life who's going to take the time and say, "I don't like this," for whatever reason, what does it matter? You know, they could be thinking that all the time. A lot of people could be thinking that they hate my hair, and that's none of my business. And I think that that's something that, as I get older, I'm starting to learn more and more, to really embrace more and more, is that if you have a problem with me and it's not something that affects you, my hair can't affect anybody else unless it's like blowing in your face behind you, and in which case I'll just, you know, I can tuck it under my hood or whatever, but it's not anybody else's opinion, so it shouldn't affect you. And I know that's kind of wishy-washy advice, but I just want to say that remember where these people are in your life. Remember to categorize and say, well, this person isn't, you know, I'm not living in this person's house, so they can't kick me out. I am not contracted to these people. I'm not, you know, they didn't recruit me for the army, so they can't tell me that this is necessary. It's not going to affect my job, so I'm going to have a living. And it's not somebody that I see every day and think about in a romantic way, so what does it matter? Those other categories of people, you can also make decisions about whether or not they should affect you. But for the most part, just be true to yourself and be happy with what you have. And remember, their opinion doesn't matter, and your opinion doesn't matter about them either. So keep that in mind when you decide to make a negative comment about somebody. I hope that helps. It may not. I am here every Tuesday talking about hair in some way, shape, or form. On Thursdays, we make a 3-ingredient recipe. And on weekends, George, my little black cat, he comes in and talks about being good to self. And I think that he would definitely tell you that other people's opinions of you don't matter. I have a good idea that he would say that. He says a lot of things that I think. Anyway, if you'd like, you can subscribe to my channel and keep up with what we do. It would be great if you'd like this, or leave a comment, share it, whatever you'd like to do. I will talk to you next time.